I mean, being single in a social media world can be interesting. You have your ups, your downs, your lies, your truths. He fine, but he ain't that fine. Why he's so cute and he ain't got no girl? So many questions, so very little answers. Why? Because nobody talks anymore. Nobody opens up. It's all about them. It's all about themselves. It's all about them. Yeah, I know I already said it, but it's all about him. You ain't worried about me, but you want me to get at you? No. Raw News No Fluff presents Being Single in a Social Media World. Welcome back to Being Single in a Social Media World. I'm your voice, Brandy Grant, and I'm stupid excited as usual to be here with you all talking about being single in a social media world. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I already know we have 3 things that we need to take care of. A little housekeeping we need to tend to. The first one I need you to do is subscribe now. Click my face if you're on YouTube. And go ahead and subscribe now. Make sure you're not missing any interviews. Make sure you're not missing any episodes. And make sure you are not missing the opportunity to be a part of the show. For my singles out there, it's tough. And social media does not make it any easier. Number 2, I need you to leave comments. And I need you to comment on other people's comments. That's what this is all about. You know, being open, being respectful, being truthful, just interacting. And we're doing it on a positive level. We're not here to tear anyone down. It's all about building, uplifting, and holding each other strong throughout this social media revolution. And lastly, and definitely not least, I want you to follow me, Brandy L. Grant, on IG at Brandy with a Y, L, Grant. Go ahead. Yep, giving you a few seconds to handle that business. You can subscribe and follow me now, and you can leave comments as we go along. Let's get to it. So, as promised, and I am so nervous, here is the worst relationship I have ever had. Ever. Now, mind you, I've only actually been in 3 relationships. I've talked to guys here and there, but 3 relationships, 2 of which were long-term. 1, 7 years, and this one technically a little over 3 years. Gag. Here we go. This one is, and forever will be the worst relationship I have ever been in. And I will never let another relationship get to this point. No. Heck no. Now, after only 4 months of being together, he cheated on me. Yep, I'm going to dive right on in there because that's exactly what he did. He dived right on into the cheating. Now, one of his friends had told me at the time to be careful. He was a cheater. I was like, whatever. I told his friend I can't hold his past against him. He said he's not a cheater anymore and that he wants to be with me. He even told his father without my knowing that he sees me being his wife, blah and blah. So yeah, he cheated. 4 months in. Well, how do you know this, Brandy? Well, we went to test drive a car. Mind you, I got with him when he was sleeping on a twin mattress on the floor in an apartment he shared with a South American woman, her 2 kids, and her mother. He had a beat-down blue Honda, no AC, broke windows. It was just one of those stories where it was like, yeah, she held me down when I was at my lowest and now we rule the world type stories. But, nah. So I find out because he went on this test drive and he let me hold his phone to like play games or watch a movie or whatever. He gave me his passcode and everything. While he was on this test drive, his phone dings in my hand and a message pops up from this chick that does not share the same name as his mother nor his sister. I tap on this flirtatious message and I see a picture of a girl's vag area and her asking him if he likes her pink. His reply, I love your pink. Yes, it's a white girl, so you do the math. And she was replying to him in her next message, need I say more? I leave. He sees me across the street waiting for my big sister to come get me. He's like, what's going on? I tell him. What does he do? Digs into me for going through his phone. I tell him, I didn't go through your phone. Her message popped up and I saw what she said to you before you replied to her, and now she's replying to you. He begs me to stay. I leave. He calls, texts, writes letters, sends cards, all of apologies, all kinds of effort to be forgiven. And this goes on for weeks. I'm thinking, well, if he's doing all of this, then maybe he's telling the truth. And yep, I accept his truth. And Brandy takes him back. At this point, I would normally say, don't judge me. But you know what? Judge me. Judge me. I was dumb. Judge on. But know this. I've learned from all of this. So judge, but delete that judgment at the end of this episode. A few tidbits of information about the in-betweens of this relationship. He always wanted to split a meal. Not the bill, but the meal. I mean, we shared a plate at restaurants. Even on my birthday, he'd take some of my food from my plate. Mind you, this dude was making over $60,000 at least at his bank job, a job that he got fired from because he was using the company's credit card to feed the dates he was taking out on his business trips out of town. He had a savings, a 401k, investments, all that jazz. For me, he was cheap. For these others, he went all out. He had 2 phones. One, he said, was a work phone and that I couldn't call him on it or bother that one for one reason or another. I later found out that it's his side chick phone because once he started officially being with one of the many chicks he had cheated on me with, he told me to contact him on his quote-unquote work phone. Oh no, I ain't nobody's side chick. I'm not even a chick in your life. I'm good. Now back to his displays of hate that he gave me covered with sugar. Thanksgiving rolls around. I say he can't come to my family gathering. We haven't been together that long. He doesn't need to meet my family. We had that incident earlier in the month prior. I'm not sure. He says I'm selfish because he's going to be alone for the holidays, that he doesn't know anyone in Orlando and that I shouldn't allow him to be alone during the holidays when he has me and I have a family in town. He then says we can spend Christmas with my family. They're coming down to have dinner with their grandkids and everyone gets together every year. I can meet his mom, his brother, his dad, and his brother's mom. I finally oblige. I know. Judge me. Now, my family is super inviting, warm, kind. They sing with him. They encourage him to join in. Cool. He even takes a plate with him. I drop him home. I go to my other grandmother's house. I grab him a plate and we link back up. Christmas comes. Christmas Eve, to be exact. He takes me to this dope place where the city has decorated all the trees in this like park area with Christmas lights. It's romantic. It's beautiful. It's nice. A nice vibe. We're walking around and out of nowhere he says, we can't do dinner tomorrow. I ask, why? Is everybody okay? He says, yeah. I asked again, why? He pauses and hesitates and then says there was a miscommunication. That's it. After more prodding from me and evading from him, he finally admits that his mom invited an old friend of his to dinner. I'm like, so what? We all have friends. I don't mind. He says, no, I don't think it would be a good idea. I stop, turn around, go back to the car. Something ain't stirring the Kool-Aid, man. In the car, we are literally on the way to pick up his parents from the airport at this point. We stopped into that forest because his parents' plane hadn't landed yet. Now this will be my first time meeting his mom and his dad. I ask, why did your mom invite this chick? He says he doesn't know. She was a friend from college and she's from where he's from. His mom and her mom are friends, so on and so forth. So I say, good, I can actually meet one of your childhood friends. But still, he's like, no, I don't think it would work. She's bringing a friend of hers. Now, I'm like to myself, okay, I know what it is. Just say it. So I say, tell me about her. Did you used to date her, sex her, what? He says, no, it's not like that. So I say, cool, I'm coming in because I've already declined some plans so that I could spend time with you and your family, especially since you made a big deal about my family at Thanksgiving. We are now riding in silence. I'm looking at him, waiting for him to respond. We get to the airport. Still no response from him. His parents pull up behind us because they've rented a car. He gets out to greet them. I do the same. We get back in the car. More silence. I'm still waiting for my answer. I'm not moving on until it's answered. So I say, well, and he finally admits that they slept together for a time. His mom thinks that they were in a relationship, but according to him, they weren't. She still keeps in contact with his mom, which explains why his mom never liked me. And his mom invited her to spend Christmas with them since she lives in the city, which I didn't know. I can't go because he thinks I am going to start some junk. I'm like, I don't even raise my voice at you in public or in private. So what made you think I would do that in front of your parents? I don't go. I sit at home and I do nothing. The day after Christmas, he invites me to hang out with his family. I go. I know I've already said judge me and just keep on with the judging because I deserve it. I was a fool of fools. Scared to be alone. Glad that someone actually liked me. Didn't realize, but Brandy, he doesn't like you. Judge me. By all means, judge me. So later that night, we go out with his brother. He and his brother get a VIP area. Yes, The guy who wanted to split every meal is now paying for VIP to impress his brother and whomever else. Whatever. I'm chilling. He sits by me every now and again. We dance a little. Cool. It's a good time. But I keep seeing him look over the balcony toward the door. I'm like, what is he looking at, or who is he looking for? I walk up to him and ask, is everything okay? Are you looking for somebody? He says, no. I say, okay. I grab a cup of cranberry juice, no ice, and I sit back down. Out of nowhere, he disappears and reappears with these two chicks. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He went to get some chicks for his brother to hang out with since he and I were together and his brother was alone. The brother still owes me $800 from the time he stayed with me, but that's neither here nor there. Clearly, they're non-paying people. It seems to run this family with the two of them. Anyway, his brother doesn't pay the chicks any mind. Now, I don't know who this girl is, but apparently she knows who I am. There is one girl whose face he's in particular, smiling. She might touch his shoulder every now and then. His brother says nothing to these chicks, so maybe Imp is what we'll call him. Since Imp invited them, he doesn't want to ignore them and be embarrassed for his poor judgment. Mind you, I'm sitting off to the side and he never once comes over to say anything to me or introduce me. Never once asked me if I needed anything since those two chicks came into the booth. He bought those chicks drinks. He even had me get up so he could grab cups for these chicks because they were under the seat cushion that my feet were on. End of the night rolls around. We're outside, standing around downtown. They are trying to hide some liquor his brother just snuck out of the club. And I got no parts of that. I'm looking out at the passerbyers. Out of nowhere, this girl passes by and says, good night, and QC wave at him, looks at me and laughs. He sees this, so he walks up behind me and tries to hug me. I ask, who is that chick? He kisses me on the neck and says, oh, that's the girl my mom invited to dinner. You know, the one I could no longer attend the family dinner for. And the other person is her friend. I ask, how does she know where you are? This clown says, she texted me while we were inside and asked me where we were, and I wasn't thinking. So I told her. I say, but she showed up 30 minutes after we did. How she got dressed that fast downtown and parked? Blank stare. I tell him, it's cool. Go see if your brother figured out that thing so we can go. Later, his brother is buying a sausage and he says that was dumb. He wasn't thinking. Don't be mad at him. I'm thinking, right. Some time passes. I know. Brandy, have you lost your rabbit mind? Y'all still together? I know. But I've learned and I've grown. But yep, I stayed with him. She was another one he cheated on me with. See, no one should have secrets except for me and my man. Nobody in that room should have secrets besides me and you. I should know everything so that you don't make me look dumb. So after this, I started giving him the cold shoulder and questioning his choices. As the relationship went along, it was more and more questioning because he would tell more and more lies, and it was just ridiculous the stuff he would lie about. Is it raining? Yeah, well, I think. And that's a real example. I wasn't a saint in this thing. I wasn't. But in all honesty, I started out as one. A saint, a helpmeet, an encourager, a blessing to him. I don't date for fun. I date because I see something in you that I feel could be long term. But as the time slinked along and got darker and darker, I got more and more untrusting, unrespecting, unattracted, unattached. He was a wrecking ball and I was a building that he decided to swing at. I did none of the things he did to me. My worst thing was giving him the cold shoulder, telling him I don't need him, and not letting him move his stuff into my room. I kid you not. That's the worst that I did. One thing that he often did was I'll tell him something that hurt me or bothered me or something that I want to change about myself, like on my body or something. And he would use that to hurt me. For example, I said that I needed to run more to get the weight off my stomach because I wanted to wear a two-piece. In random moments when I was happy and it wasn't because of him, I was just having an awesome day, he'd say, got rid of that fat around your stomach? I can see it through your shirt. Or remember you said you don't like your stomach, but you still eating. I weighed a high 140, 145, and I'm 5'8". I don't think I'm fat, but bruh, you hear something enough, especially something negative from someone that consistently professes that they love you, and you start to believe it. And it starts to take a toll on you mentally, emotionally, and physically. I was working out. I looked tighter to me, but according to him, it wasn't working. So I started working out less. One thing people knew about me is I didn't mind the gym. I liked the weight training aspect of it. Running was not my strong suit, but I ran when I could and I felt the desire. I want to be fine and sexy and just fit. You know, I want my dude to touch my stomach and be like, dang girl, you strong. I like how it feels. I like how I feel when I finish working out, how my body looks, how I eat. Just overall, I was vibing it. I enjoyed the gym. It was just a good time for me. Imp liked going to the gym more than me. He liked to run. He ran track, so that was one of his things. He also wanted to be a trainer, but had no clients. Anyway, He used me. But he was a mean trainer. Like, even to his girl, he was a mean. An example. My shoulder was sprained. I had a spasm shoulder muscle, and I had 2 bulging discs in my vertebrae. I told him this over and over. I need to heal first, so let's do more lower body core workouts. He would say, you're lazy and you're making excuses. That's why you're fat and you don't like yourself. I didn't really care for running because I tired quickly. Finds out it's because I had low iron, like really low iron. When I get too hot, I get dizzy and I almost faint. I told him this. He would say, you're not dizzy. You just have to drink water and eat something. You just don't want to work out. You wasted my time. He was the reason I stopped going to the gym. He was the reason I stopped caring about what I wore, went out any kind of way, stopped smiling, stopped smelling good. Like not I didn't take showers. I took showers. I just didn't use like perfume. I stopped laughing. I just wasn't happy. He really succeeded in making me dislike myself. I became super body conscious. Him throwing my fears and my insecurities in my face over and over and over made me lose trust in him even more, made me lose all my respect for him, and was a huge part of this actually ending, like this toxic relationship actually terminating, thank God. I know, clearly, Brandy doesn't like herself. However, on a positive tip, I learned a lot from this relationship. Not throwing things in my dude's face, supporting him how he needs to be supported. I learned some valuable relationship lessons from this situation. God gave me a lot to retain and learn from for when he does send me my him. Oh, I'm ready. One time I was sick. Like, I was at home and I needed to get something to take. And your girl don't take medicine. I avoided as much as possible, but this time I needed something. I go downstairs to my car, which is outside, and it won't crank. It's not working. He's in the house. Now, I've told him that I'm not feeling well, but I ended up outside going to the store. Figure that one out. I go back inside to tell him that my car isn't working. He comes outside to see. Now, everything Imp knows about cars, I've taught him. How to change tires, how to check your oil, how to know if it's your battery or your starter, everything. And I'm shaking my head right now. Anyway, so he comes out. No, he doesn't have his keys, but he comes out to look at my car. I tell him it's the battery. It ticks, it won't turn over, it's the battery. I ask him to go to the store to exchange the battery for me because it's under warranty still. You know what he says? It's not my fault you sick. It's cold out here. I beg him, literally. My body is in pain, head hurting, dizzy. I am not well. He says, no, I don't have any gas. I beg him again. Nope. I detach my battery and I began to walk the 2 miles to the store. Battery in hand. Oh, the lessons God was teaching me throughout this entire hate-filled process, because that dude hated me. He had to. These lessons are gonna benefit my him so much, babe. You're welcome from all of us. I obviously didn't love myself. I barely liked myself. I was impatient with friends and family and coworkers. I wasn't giving my best performance acting-wise. I was just in a bad spot. And because he was contributing to the majority of the house payment, I was stuck. Let me tell you about auditions. So I started putting him on tape for free early on in our relationship. I'm a giver. Darn me. But I'm a giver. And he took full advantage. And I allowed it. So sometimes he would put me on tape. But I tape him, he taped me. When I taped him, it was perfect. Literally. The lighting, the framing, the sound, my reading. I would read like he was on set. I'm giving him something to react to. I'd move around to help him with his eye line. I'd fix his clothes if he looked messy. Never a flaw that would take him out of character so that he could focus on booking. When the time came for me, he'd flub lines. He'd be monotone. He'd find something to argue with me about and take me out of character. He'd make me cry. He'd distract me. We'd finally finish if I didn't give up and go to my room and cry. I'd look at the tape. I'm dark, meaning the lights were not right. I can't hear myself, meaning he didn't turn on the mic. My head is half cut off, meaning he didn't frame it correctly. He would never do a take without stuttering or having some kind of distraction for me or the person viewing. Mind you, he was in control of all this, so he could see that my shirt collar was flipped up or that the sound wasn't on. Oh, and when I asked him to correct this or to correct that, he would tell me to chill out, that he's got this. He knows what he's doing. Clearly. Sabotage. Did I say sabotage? I missed submissions on a lot of things because of him. Never told my agents it was because of him, because we shared the same agents, because I didn't want him to look bad. I am laughing so hard on the inside right now at how sad I was at that time. He just didn't want me to win, but he would always throw in my face how I wasn't a team player. I wasn't the team player, that I was selfish. I know. What in the helicopter is Brandy doing? Why is she still with this? I know. One time, he went through my phone while I was asleep. Now, let me remind you of the time that I saw the girl's vag area on his phone and him loving her pink. How upset he got. Tells me, why would I go through his phone? If something popped up, I should have just put his phone down. How I was invading his privacy, even though he wasn't doing anything wrong and she was just a friend from a long time ago. He went through all of my text messages, which means he was reading for a long time, because at that time, I very rarely deleted messages. Now, if they serve no purpose, I'm not going to have you taking up my memory space. Anyway, so at that time, my phone was locked because he locked his phone. This dude was for weeks gathering my code so he could go through my phone. Finally, he got all 4 digits, and while I was asleep one night, went through and read all of my text messages. I woke up and something happened where I knew he had at least touched my phone. I confronted him, and after a while of him lying, he finally admitted it and went in on me for texting my ace, my homie, you know, the guy from the last episode. Now, he knew my ex and I were best friends, because like I said in the last episode, I'm very upfront about that my ex is my ace. We cool. We're not getting back together. That ain't never gonna happen. He said over and over he was fine with it, but now it's a problem because he read a text with no context. You know, like he said I did about Vag Girl and him loving her pink text. Anyway, he is the one that believes he can do something, but his girl or somebody else cannot. The text he read was, are you coming to my play? You can crash at Actors Housing with me if you're too tired to drive back. Now, y'all, it was an August Wilson play, so that was at least a 3-hour play right there. My best friend replied, cool. He didn't say, I can't wait to enjoy your brown. I'll definitely stay so I can see you walk out of the shower. No, he didn't say any of that. He said, I'll let you know. Thanks for the offer. Imp, I-M-P. Imp is what we call him, my ex, the one I'm talking about in this whole thing. He is a crap stain on my memory, and it stank. Oh, but the lessons I have learned from him, I know I keep saying it, but I learned some great lessons. Look, I had to go through the fire to get rid of my impurities for my him. My him, babe. Thank God, I'm telling you, thank him now. He's going to hook you up. You won, baby. You won. So throughout the relationship, he would put his hands on me here and there. And by put his hands on me, y'all know what I mean. He was physically abusive. And I was the one that was always like, can't no dude hit on me. Nah, that ain't gonna fly. I wish a dude would. Well, a dude did. Imp physically abused me like 3 or 4 times. And each time he got bolder and bolder and hit harder and harder. Now, I knew I could hurt him. If we fought, I knew I would win, which was a reason I did hold back. How do I know this? Because like some guys, they like to play fight with you and test you, you know, to see their limits, to see what they could possibly get away with. Well, he and I were wrestling once, and I got him in this chokehold. He tapped my leg. Now, I paid no mind to this tap because when my sisters, my cousins, my male cousins, and I would wrestle, we said uncle or I give, or you had to say yes him to the possum. One or the other. We didn't tap out, but he tapped quickly. Again, I didn't notice. I was waiting for him to say one of those things, to say he gave up. Eventually, he like hit my leg, and I let him go. He cried talking about something. When I tap, you're supposed to let me go. I said, oh, my bad. Now he's yelling because he's saying I pretty much almost killed him. Boy, calm down. So yeah, I know for a fact that I could have hurt him. So he started getting more and more abusive. And on the 4th time, I was like, look, you hit me one more time, I'm gonna hurt you. Touch me one more time like that, I promise. We're gonna fight, and you're gonna need to call the police for yourself. Don't touch me again like that. Did he ever again? No, because he was only doing it because I was letting him. And he got bolder and bolder because he thought he could. But nah, that won't ever happen again. Not even a tap. I'm good. But yep, my whole personality changed. I was impatient. I was short-tempered. My whole style changed. I was resentful, angry, quiet, and introvert. Just down, very down. I had changed. I saw it. My parents saw it. So I knew I had changed. I love when my parents know me so well. Anyway, I became a hermit of sorts. I didn't like to cook. I didn't even want to cook. I didn't go out. I was less organized. I was the death of the party instead of the typical Brandy life of the party. It was just a bad time for me. He dulled me so that his light had a chance to shine. He did a great job. He really did. Bravo, Imp. Bravo, you demon. You know, I used to refer to him as the devil, but turns out he's not the devil. He's just a demon that really loves his job and strives every day to get a raise and a promotion. He wants to be second in command in hell. I believe he's well on his way. Congrats. Glad you made it. Point blank. He's a hateful, narcissistic imp of a man, which is why I call him Imp throughout this entire thing. So much so that when he finally moved out, he came to me and said, are we good? I'm like, okay, take care now. He'd ask again. I'd say, Okay, take care now. Bye-bye. I just want you gone, homie. Then he said, are you going to tell people what you know about me? I'm like, well, like what? I'd rather not even think about you. So no, I won't tell people that you hit me. No, I won't tell people that you're verbally abusive, a horrible trainer. No, I won't tell anyone that you're a fraud. No, I won't tell people that you got fired from your job because you were stealing from your company. No, I won't tell people that you didn't pay for your auditions even though you said you would and you still owe me $400. No, I won't tell people that you wouldn't pay your late fees on your late rent even though you said you would. You still owe me over $300, imp. No, I won't tell people that you're attracted to men and was at one point in love with your business partner, but you keep in a relationship so that she can hide that from the world for you. Come out of the closet, man. No, I won't tell people that you're using them for your own benefit, and as soon as you get what you want, you're going to bounce or find something else that you can manipulate out of them, to include but not limited to every independent filmmaker you've ever worked with and will meet. These exclusive agents that you have agreements with, but you still have multiple agents in Florida and Georgia and possibly other locations. And those people that think you're going to do something for them, but in actuality, only so that you could mind screw them to get what you want out of them, including your girl you with now or your boy. I don't know how you working it right now. Whoever you with. No, I won't tell people that you're hella insecure and that you take it out on people that don't deserve it. No, I won't tell your chick that you cheated on her several times. Why? Because she already knows you're a cheater. I mean, you cheated on me with her. So no, I won't tell her that. No, I won't tell her that you want an open relationship because you loose and you a hoe. No, I won't tell anyone about you. But then came along being single in a social media world. But hey, I won't tell anyone else. Promise. Now let me get to my testimony that I was originally going to post only, but I wanted to give you some backstory about how Imp is just a horrible person, and I don't think he changed. I don't think he can ever change. He's so set in his ways and so in love with himself that he doesn't want to change or see his error. So buyer beware. I want God to be involved with my relationship because I know for a fact that God is real and he has my back, front, my side, my insides, everything. He loves him some Brandy LG. Quick testimony. I'm gonna try to run through this so that it doesn't take too much time. So I was in a relationship not long enough ago, a really bad relationship, a horrible relationship, a demonic. It was just evil. This guy was evil, manipulative, cunning, selfish, narcissistic. This dude, I was losing myself daily while dealing with this mess of a person. I started dressing differently and more depressively. I had attitudes with my parents. I started isolating myself more and more. I was way less patient with other people. I was not reading my Bible as much, going to church as much, seeking approval of other people more and caring what they thought. I was just not me. My walk, style, attitude, all that changed. He broke me down and almost broke me, but God. Hallelujah. This dude tore me down every chance he got, called me fat, said he didn't care if I was sick, no compliments, no help, made me feel guilty. Y'all, I was in a bad place, in a bad situation with the worst person. Example. So we went to Jamaica and I was sick. I hadn't eaten for 3 whole days. You think he noticed? Nope. I was crying one night saying, help me, please help me, sobbing in pain, hungry, weak as heck. Help me, please, somebody help me. I can't make it. For like 30-45 minutes, this boy wakes up from his peaceful sleep and yelled at me saying that it was my fault that I wasn't feeling well, that it wasn't his problem. And you know what he did? Yep, he went back to sleep. What did I do? Cry silently so that I wouldn't disturb him. He was just, something in him was broken and he took it out on me. And the crazy thing is that everyone saw him as this good guy, which is interesting because people who don't want to acknowledge that Satan is real will never say that Satan is bad. So this guy was just so horrible to me, and I can't even emphasize how horrible he is. Anyway, this dude was abusively, mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally, just a horrible guy, a horrible situation that I allowed myself to stay in, that God allowed me to stay in for reasons I know and believe why he had me staying in this relationship and hardened my heart from getting out. At times I will say I'm getting out. All the time I wanted to get out. All the time I left and said I was done. I came right back. It was just stupidity, insecurities, and the belief that it was beneficial to me. And in every honesty, I wouldn't change anything at all because I learned a great many lessons from this dude. So he cheated on me several times early into the relationship too. I didn't know. I didn't find out. I ended up figuring it out, but something happened and I was like, oh, you are definitely cheating on me. Like now I know. And I asked him before and of course he said no. But mind mind you, he cheated on every last one of his other girlfriends. But my thinking is, you're too grown to still be this ignorant and dumb, and I can't say you are who you were back then. I won't hold your past against you. Maybe you've changed. You said you have, so I'll accept that. I trust you until you give me a reason not to. And just a refresher, I'm talking about how Jesus is real, how I know Jesus is real. So it got to a point where I was asking God, what did I do wrong? Why was he treating me like this? Why doesn't he love me? Why does he keep hurting me and lying to me? Why don't I matter to him? So on and so forth. Now I'm literally yelling at God. I'm yelling these things at God, not even realizing that I didn't love him. I didn't even like him. I just like being in a relationship and that companionship. I'm a giving person. I'm a compromising person. I can be selfish, but I'm not a selfish person. And I know this because these are some of the things that irk me about me sometimes. I'm always spending, and not as much anymore. I'm very compromising. Now, I love those things about me, but back to the testimony and how I know God is real. It got to a point where I was over it. Check it. I gave this man the option to go with this girl that he was cheating on me with at the time. This chick who he said his cousin introduced him to because she runs track and she wants some pointers. Like, bruh, okay, why didn't your cousin know that you were in a relationship, and why she introduced you to other females? That is the question. The lies this little boy would tell instead of just getting out of the relationship and doing what's right by not only me but her. So yeah, I said go with her and spend time with her and then come back to me and decide who you want to be with. He was more than happy to do this. He literally said okay and left. Not Brandy, I love you. Not I want to make this work and be with you. Not she was just a mistake, a phase, an itch that I needed to scratch. So good something. Nope. He left. What in the world? Who does that? No. But while he was gone, God did a mighty work on me. Something just clicked in me, and it was like, how pathetic. How weak are you right now? How low is your love for you, your self-esteem right now, that you would allow a dude to sleep with and be with and do whatever he wants with this chick and then come back to you? You're on hold for 30 days or however long it's going to be, and you're on hold sitting there while he's out living his best life and having the best time of his life. What in the world, Brandy? So I was in my room and I had this plastic hanger in my hand and I was hitting myself, not even realizing it, but I was so angry with God and so frustrated with my own weakness and insecurities and fears of not being liked, loved, worthy, etc. I was yelling and going in on God. Why would you do this to me? Why would you let me go through this? Why would you put me in this situation? Why would you do this to me? Why would you have me be with a person that doesn't care about me? He doesn't like me. He doesn't love me. Why would you do this to me? I'm a good person. Keep in mind, I am yelling this. I am screaming this at God. And at the same time, I'm bopping myself on my leg with this thick plastic hanger. And I didn't realize it until it was over. And I had this enormous black. And when I say that joint was black, not blue, not purple, it was black bruise on my thigh. It was a black and huge. So anyway, in the midst of my trials and tribulations and my attacking God, my thoughts went to what my mom has said a few times. She told me of a time in her life where she was at the end of her rope and she needed divine intervention. She was over the situation and she needed help. She explained to me how in that day back then she went on her knees and told God to do something for her, and she told him that when she stood up, she wanted it to be over, whatever the matter was. Now trust, that takes crazy faith to go on your knees and then say, when I stand up, I want it to be over. Not giving God time. You want it now. It has to happen now. It isn't just like, let me go on my knees real quick and tell God I don't want to be on crack no more and you good. No, you really and sincerely need to have in your heart that you can't do it anymore. So you need help. You need something that only he can do, which is a miracle. And my mom had and has that. So she told me it happened for her. She stood up and she was done with it. Never looked back, never regret. She was free from it. And I'm thinking all throughout the years of my life, okay, mom, cool. No, it don't happen like that, mama. No, boo-boo. No, no, no. But oh, Brandy of little faith. So this day when I'm yelling at God and bopping my head, this day I shake my head at my silly doubts. And in the moment of me yelling at God, him listening all while I'm yelling and never saying a word, just letting me get it all out. As soon as I shut my mouth, he said in a calm, fatherly, loving voice, you never asked me to get you out of it. You never asked me to help you. Literally those words, you never asked me to help you. And in that moment, I was like, you're right. You're right. And I'm still mad though. I'm not like, yes, you're right. Okay, I'm gonna move along. No, I'm still mad, yelling still. Why though? Why would you put me? Why wouldn't you just take me out pretty much? Why wouldn't you just snatch me out? You know I don't need to be in this. You know I don't really want to be in this. I was too busy trying to figure out how to make it better and how to fix it and how to solve it. Too busy saying, what am I doing wrong? Why does he treat me like that? Well, Brandy, was because you let him. But that's neither here nor there. I was too busy trying to figure out how I can make it better and what I was doing wrong. And all that time it was him. He was the selfish. He was the inconsiderate. He was the mean. He was just evil. Oh, so I fell to my knees and I was praying and I told God what my mom said and how when she got up it was all over. My mama doesn't lie to us. That's one thing I can sincerely say without a shadow of a doubt. My mom does not lie to us. If she doesn't want to answer, she won't answer it, but she will not lie to us. So I told God what my mom said and how she got up and how she was over it. And as I'm on my knees crying and yelling, and mind you, me and this guy lived together at the time. Remember though, he wasn't there. He was with his other wife. Like I told him to go be with her. Pause. And in thinking about it right this very moment, God got him out of that house. That was perfect time. That was divine intervention. He got him out of that house so that he and I could talk. That's crazy. I mean, that just shows how dope God is and how his timing is so perfect, man. It's deep, man. That's really crazy to me right now. So yeah, I was just crying and yelling and crying and yelling at God. I was going in on God. I did not curse God. I did not curse at God. I did not disrespect God. I did not blaspheme God, but I was certainly yelling at him. I was on my knees expecting and more importantly, desperately needing a miracle. I was like, I need this to be over. I want to be over this. I don't want to be in this anymore. I don't want to care anymore. I want to get up and I want it to be over. But if I get up and I'm not over it, we gonna have a problem. And I literally said that we gonna have a problem. I was like, it is not going to be good for me and you if I get up and I'm not over this. I said that several times. We gonna have a serious problem. If I had gotten up and it wasn't done, I probably wouldn't have been a Christian. I would have lost all faith. I would have just been one of those aimless people believing in rocks and trees because my faith and need and I struggled was at its tipping point and I seriously needed to be done with him because I was at my wit's end and I was losing myself. I was literally losing myself. My dad would ask me all the time, who are you? What's going on with you? And I didn't have an answer because I didn't know that this demon that I was dating was sucking me dry and trying to kill me. Now remember, he never built me up unless it benefited him. If he said something nice or did something nice, it was soon followed by something he needed. Anyway, I'm on my knees right beside my bed. My eyes are closed tight, but I know the configuration of my room in the dark. I mean, my bed was to my left. I was facing south. The headboard was to the north and against the window. And I'm sobbing. If I get up and I'm not over it, we're going to have a problem, God. I am going in still on God. Like, I know I keep saying that, but I'm trying to tell you, like, I was yelling. My throat was hurting. I was yelling at him. If this doesn't work, over and over and over. And my deceased nephew as my witness, and I would never lie on my baby. Just as I closed my mouth to breathe, swallow, whatever I did, Jesus, I am feeling this. My eyes still closed tight. He walked beside me between my bed and me, sat on my bed next to me, and I kid you not, he sat on my bed and he placed my head on his lap. My head was not touching the bed. I felt God's lap. You know what 2 humps of legs feel like. You know it. And I felt God touching me. I felt him there. He was there. And to calm, and I'm telling y'all, I'm like, I have like this excitement. Like, okay, people in Florida know how the skies look when the hurricane is coming. It's beautiful. It's clear blue skies. The peace, the silence is amazing. It's like, wow, whatever is coming is going to be something serious. I felt that, the calm and joy that whatever is coming for me after today, whatever comes is going to be amazing. I felt that, the calm, the peace, that it was a stillness. That's what it was. It was a stillness I had never felt in my life before. I felt that there was no more sobbing, there was no more tears, there was no more yelling, there was no more heart racing. Y'all, I'm excited. God is here. He was there in my room and he is here now. When I got up, I was over him. I didn't think twice about wanting to get back with him. I didn't miss him. I didn't feel lonely. I didn't feel important. I didn't feel empty. I felt I was good. Now keep in mind, a little time had passed before all this went down. He had been with her for a week plus. I mean, he would come to my house in her car, grab some of his things and leave. But the day I was released, he came back, brought his stuff with him. If he was going back to her or not, I didn't know. I didn't ask. I didn't care. So the day all this yelling went down, he came back to the house. Man, I tell you, God is on time. This dude came back the day I got over him and his crap. I didn't even realize he was back. I was in my room cleaning up, I believe, and I went out because I was hungry, and there he was coming up the stairs and down the hall toward my room. Now usually he just make that left and go to his room, but there he was in the hallway looking at my glow, my beauty, my essence. I just knew I was glowing. I'm telling you, I felt brand new. He said hi. I said, what's up, pimpin'? You want something to eat? I'm about to cook. He looked so shocked, but I'm sure he thought it was because I was trying to win him back and his chest was all puffed out. No. He said, yeah, sure. He didn't know what to do with that. I didn't give a flip. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I didn't say, yeah, sucker, I've admired you. I'm moving on. Nothing. I was at peace. Now, I hadn't asked him if he wanted something to eat in a minute. Like, go ask that chick if she want to feed you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to cook for you so you can go work it off with her. Heck no. I'm telling y'all, he was just a mean man. Y'all don't understand. He was so mean. He downed me, made me feel horrible about myself, made me not like myself. I'm being super transparent right now. I'm spitting. I'm so transparent right now and letting y'all in. And I'm a crazy private person for real, for real. So yeah, I got to the top of the stairs just before I went down to the kitchen, and without even looking at him, I said, I'm no longer in the running. Be with her. Be happy. I'll be done in about 30-45 minutes. And then I went downstairs. No need for him to reply or ask questions or say anything. Book closed, burn, and not one ash remained. Not one regret or change of mind. And that meal was wonderful. My love for cooking was back, y'all. My flavors were back. The seasonings was back. My taste buds, baby, were back. I felt me coming back immediately. And y'all, he tried to have a conversation. He tried to be all sweet. He tried to be all nice. Nah, pimp, nah. That's over and done with, dead. And all I know is at that very moment in my room, going back in my room, I knew without a shadow of a doubt, without an inkling of respect, that God was real. And I believe in God, Jesus, the Bible, the times to come, faith, spirituality, all that greatness. But at that very moment, right then and there, that I put my head on Jesus' lap and I knew God is real. It was like he said to God, if I don't go to her, she's not going to make it. If I don't physically touch her, she's not going to get up. I can talk to her. I can encourage her all I want. I can assure her all I want. But if I do not go to her, she's not going to get up or relax long enough to even consider it. I have to go to her in order to help her. He showed up right on time. And ever since then, I've looked at myself differently. I've looked at relationships differently. I've looked at what I want and what I will accept, what I will go for, what I will not, the limitations, the expectations. I looked at them so differently. I took a year off from dating, courting, whatever, from just going out with people, and decided that I needed a year to love myself, because clearly I didn't love myself. There was nothing that said I loved myself, especially since I was staying in that for so long. There was nothing about me that loved me. And we were together for about 3 years. I say we were together for 4 months, because that's when he started cheating on me. But he'll tell people 3 years for some weird reason, but won't tell them that he used to hit me and cheat on me and abuse me mentally and verbally. Nah, you gotta make sure yourself look good, pimp, and protect his self-image. Screw all the people he hurt. So yeah, it took 3 years for me to finally learn the lesson that, Brandy, you need to love yourself. You need to love yourself first. You need to know who you are before you get in a relationship. August 30th is a day to celebrate not just my freedom, but the day I found out for sure. The day I had the perfect confirmation, the day I had that guaranteed, girl, let me tell you this, that Jesus is real. God is there when you need him. Bless God. So yeah, the plan was to take a year to be with myself, and I ended up single, and yeah, I'm still single now. Don't judge me. But I ended up being in a position where I was dating Brandy for 2 years, and now in 2019, I'm open to dating. Sure, I'm not dating, which is funny, is all get out. I took 2 years off, and I still can't get nobody to like. Anyway, I'll cry later. I don't want you guys to hear me cry. But I'm open to dating. I'm ready to date. I'm in the IRE, ready for love, but no one wants to date me. Yeah, that's funny when you think about it. All that testimony was just to tell you that being single in a social media world is tough. If you're single in a social media world and you don't know yourself, you don't love yourself, you don't encourage yourself, you can't even romance yourself, how can you expect someone else to do those things? How can you expect someone else to love you? If you don't like yourself, who's gonna like you? You have to be positive, you have to be optimistic, you have to be encouraged, you have to encourage yourself. And you have to know your value, your worth, and what you will and will not stand for. Social media will eat you alive. It took me 3 years to figure that out. I'm hoping it only took however long this episode was for you to figure it out. I want your thoughts. What's the best method of surviving being single in a social media world that has so much control over people's thoughts and people's ways? So this episode today is to take a step back and to realize there are certain things that we have to do before we're even ready for a relationship. Being single in a social media world is a beast in of itself, but it can be so much harder if we don't cover some things before we start. One, you have to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, then who else is going to love you? But even before you get to that point, you have to like yourself. If you don't like who you are, if you know there are things about you that should be changed, if you know there are things about you that probably won't sit well with most other people, then perhaps you should think about changing those things or fixing those things. Also, you have to know who you are. You have to know yourself. You have to know what you like, what you don't like, what something means to you, such as romance, what is good communication, what is work ethic. You have to know these things before you can enter into a relationship with somebody else. You need to know where you want to be in 3-5 years. You need to understand your past, your history, how it has affected you, how it has changed you. You also need to let go of a lot of the history in your past before you can move on to the future, having learned from those things in the past. But above all, you have to like yourself. You have to love yourself. If you don't have either of those things, then I suggest you take time to date yourself. And if you don't like yourself, the other person won't like you, and they will mistreat you because they can. They will abuse you mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally, because you don't like yourself. They don't like you either. And one will only work for so long and for so hard to help you like yourself. It will get to a point where it's like, this is too much work and I'm out. So have yourself ready first before you enter into a relationship. I know this because I have been through it. I personally have gone through the trials of not liking myself, not loving myself, not respecting myself. And I had to endure what I call for a long time the devil. Now he's just a demon. But the devil, before I could really say to myself, Brandy girl, you're ready for that relationship. Yeah, you are. With God, all things are possible. God is always on your side. He's always on time. And you have to like you before you can like someone else. So, Raw News No Fluff presents Being Single in a Social Media World. That's our episode for the day, everyone. Remember, let's make sure we finished up those housekeeping things. You subscribed to this channel. You've left comments, or you're leaving comments on comments, making your original comments. Just make it do what it do, baby. Let me know what you think. Definitely make sure you follow me, Brandy Grant, on Instagram at Brandy with the YL Grant. That's on IG. And be sure to share this link. Y'all don't understand how much I appreciate y'all, because I do. Ooh. If you have any topics that you want to talk about, you want to hear about, you want to discuss, then send me a direct message on Being Single in a Social Media World on Facebook. Again, that's Being Single in a Social Media World. If you missed something, if you know someone that needs to catch something that was said on this episode, you can find this again on YouTube at Raw News No Fluff, on Facebook at both Raw News No Fluff and Being Single in a Social Media World, and on all podcast streaming platforms. Again, I appreciate you all for listening in this week. I look forward to reading your comments. I look forward to talking with you all soon. Talk to you next week.
Violins, please. Being single in a social media world is an adventure, to say the very least.